Hello, welcome to Leading the Way at Leonard's, and I'm your host, Dwayne Knepper. Today, we'll be talking about giving back to our communities with a focus on corporate philanthropy. Guess who's riding shotgun with me today? And it's someone who knows a lot about this topic. Leonard's Express Vice President of People and Development, Shannon Struzik.
Thanks, Dwayne. I am very excited to be here. I know your co-host and co-pilot, Ken Johnson, usually joins you, but this topic is very near and dear to my heart, so I was happy to jump in.
Also joining us to talk about an exciting program in Upstate New York that's bringing together people of all abilities together to learn, play, and socialize. A story that involves hundreds of volunteers building an accessible playground with support from community partners, including Leonard's Express. Mike and Nanci Bentley from the Inclusion in Motion Project.
Thanks for having us. Thank you, Leonard's Express. Thank you, Shannon, and thank you, Dwayne. We're excited to be here this morning.
First, Shannon, set the stage for us. Why is corporate philanthropy so critical?
Well, corporate philanthropy is part of who we are as a company. We are a family-owned company that was born and bred right here in Canandaigua, New York. So not only do the owners, the Johnson family, come from Canandaigua and are very integrated and infused into our community, the whole company really has that community spirit, that willingness to give back and be part of the community here. Now that expands out to all of our terminals nationwide, but this story is very specific to Canandaigua, New York, and we're excited to tell that story today and to be a part of that. And you'll see it among our veteran employees right on down through those entering the company right from college. People demand a company that gives back, that's part of their community, that really supports the things that they believe in. And we are happy to have a wide range of projects that come from individuals within the company right on up through our leadership team. So really, it's a part of who we are. It's a part of what is demanded in today's world. And we are excited to be able to share that and some of the initiatives we work on today with you.
Great point, Shannon. We know from industry research that corporate philanthropy increases employee satisfaction and retention. According to Indeed, when companies establish a clear social mission and connect with their communities, employees feel more engaged in working for them. Last summer, Leonard's Express found a perfect opportunity to demonstrate our connection to the community when Inclusion in Motion asked for our help. Nanci, what is Inclusion in Motion, and what inspired you and Mike to start this incredible project?
So yes, Inclusion in Motion is a non-for-profit that we formed about 4 years ago. And our goal is to create an inclusive playground where it's one design for all. Everybody can play, and it's made us rethink how we do things. But what began our journey, it was in 2011, and at the time we didn't know, was our son MJ, and he inspired us to change our ways and our ways of thinking. MJ was born with a rare chromosome disorder called Pallister-Killian syndrome. And as MJ was continuing to grow and take us on his journey through life, we realized he didn't have access to things that were necessary for him to play, for him to be involved in his community, for him to socialize with his peers. And one of the things that was burning with us was the play and interaction. And so that inspired us to go ahead and go on this journey to build this incredible 20,000 square foot playground that everybody can play at. MJ presents with low muscle tone. His main use of transportation is a wheelchair. And so we've had to learn how to overcome any barriers that we are faced with as a family. Thank you.
Oh, no. Mike, do you want to add on to what Nanci was saying there?
I think she did a phenomenal job explaining how
Yeah.
we got started, and just to add to it is inclusion in motion. Nanci is a true advocate for everyone, especially our son, and not just our son, but those that are labeled with a disability. And this playground started with Nanci and I. We couldn't find a place for MJ to play with his peers, and our partner that's not with us today, Sonia Smith, is the one that challenged us to build this space because we were trying to help someone in Colorado build a space, and she said, "Why not us?" So here we are. 3 years after the fundraising started, 4.5 years, almost 5 years after we started the mission, and here we are with a fully accessible playground for everyone, no matter their ability.
You guys have received support from dozens of community partners. The list is really impressive.
So we've received the Canandaigua, the 9 counties surrounding Canandaigua are just so generous. We live in a very, very philanthropic community, and we continue to get donations because we're continuing to fundraise as we're going to expand this inclusive space. And we couldn't be thankful enough of the community involvement, not just financially, but for the build, for the continued support. And it's been a true honor and a true blessing.
Shannon, the main focus of Leonard's Express philanthropic giving is movement. So supporting inclusion in motion is really a perfect fit.
It really was an absolutely perfect fit. Now, as a very philanthropic organization, we can usually tie most things into our pillars that we have a passion for supporting, but this was a perfect fit. So, our focus as an industry, as a company, is movement of freight from point A to point B. And as we went through the pandemic, we realized how much more important it came to be able to get goods and food to the people who needed it despite what's going on. And we've taken that philosophy and really infiltrated that into everything we do with community. And that can be movement of with our Parkinson's support, movement in patients with Parkinson's, with our breast cancer support movement towards a cure. But children are central to our mission, and the movement of children and fitness or any type of category works. But when it also includes bringing in the inclusion and the ability for all peers to play together, we couldn't have come up with something we'd be more excited to support. And I absolutely love the story of how we were able to take more than just, a financial donation, but really use our expertise to help out. And I would love for Mike to share that story, how the connection started and how we got to be able to be a significant part of the build.
Sure. Mike, how did Leonard's Express throw its support behind inclusion in motion?
So absolutely, as I mentioned previously, this was our grassroots campaign, and this project was built by the community. It was paid for by the community, and what I mean by that is there was no government, state, federal dollars in this project, and so Leonard's Express and I and Nanci and MJ had a mutual connection. Keith Henderson, that is with Leonard's Express, he has a relative that we were very acquainted with that absolutely adored MJ and said, "Hey, Keith and Leonard's Express wants you to reach out to them and talk through what they can do to support your mission." And Leonard's Express has been unbelievable. When I tell you unbelievable in our journey, I spoke with Kyle. Keith connected me with Kyle. Kyle went over the top, I guess would be the best way to say it. Did more than we ever asked for.
Awesome.
And it was just very, very humbling, and not just financially, but personally from the family as well. Help build, help fundraise, and then what you will see is that Leonard's Express brought all of our playground equipment from Minnesota through the generosity of your organization. However, when we were crunched against the timetable for the surfacing, the rubberized surfacing to get it here, there were some logistical opportunities with our supplier that was going to do it for us. I made a phone call to Kyle, and I shouldn't say anything more because it was handled when I made that phone call. So Leonard's Express has absolutely been amazing to us, and we could never show our full appreciation, but we truly appreciate what you've done.
Dwayne, I'd add on to Mike. That early morning when we found out the equipment was coming in from Minnesota, 6 tractor trailer loads. We made it a point to go out there at 6 a.m. in the morning, and there sat the tractor trailers lined up in the parking lot. And it was humbling to see all of that. It was very touching to see what Leonard's Express did for us.
You know, and in the timeless words from the 1989 blockbuster Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come.
So, and you say that it's the building, and we'll talk on that momentarily. But since we've been open, I'll share that with you. How many people have anticipated that have been there?
So I'd like to touch on this in August, in 1 week, in late August of 2021. We had over 700 volunteers, community members come and help build over 6 tractor trailers of equipment, piece by piece, concrete poured, all volunteers. Let me reinforce that. We had food donated every day graciously from Wegmans, and they fed all of our volunteers, and everybody worked from almost sun up to close to sundown in installing this playground. We had football teams, we had families, we had people. We actually had one individual a couple that took an entire week's vacation to come help. We were just, it was the best week ever to see the relationships built and come together.
Yeah, it really was. Shannon, I think I even saw in one of those pictures, one of the drivers, John Becker, I think is what his name is, was a part of that. So many.
And you know, I think it's important to note too, with community philanthropy, one, you know, you thank us, but we thank you for giving us the opportunity to live our values and give back. And really all the kudos goes to you. We're just excited to have been a small part of it. But as Dwayne mentions, you know, John Decker, our employees not only demand, you know, being able to work for a company that supports the community, but they want to support. They want to be part of it. They want volunteer opportunities and opportunities to, you know, touch and feel and be able to really see their work come to life. So we also thank you for that opportunity for our drivers and for anyone who was able to help volunteer to get that playground put together so beautifully and so quickly.
You know, what an incredible success. Let's take a look at your grand opening video.
We are thrilled to officially open the playground portion this morning, but please know that our big dreams for this space do not stop here. Our dream is to be the first universally designed and certified playground in the United States. Simply put, that means one design for everyone.
Here we are today, standing in front of all of you. MJ has taught us that everyone has voice. All of us do. We may not hear that voice at times, but if you stop and you look and you listen and you feel, you'll hear that voice.
3, 2, 1, let's play!
Well, this playground is
Amazing.
special. It's special. Mike, what's next for Inclusion in Motion, and where can folks learn more?
What's next is you saw is the pavilion. We're building a 5,000 square foot inclusive space for people to utilize while we're at the playground. It'll have 15 to 20 picnic tables. The key focal point is we're out there just about every day, and we're putting a concession stand in, and we're partnering with a local not-for-profit to manage that concession stand. And then more importantly, it's going to have 4 family restrooms. That will have adult size changing tables in those restrooms, so that everyone has the proper access to be utilize the restroom at the space. And then after that, there's more to come, which we're just getting started. We're not going to share yet the next things that we're going to do, but there's more to come in this space. From the property that has been donated by the town.
That's amazing.
He said, "And wait, there's more." Big
Yes, yes, but wait, there's more.
I'd like to recognize the town of Canandaigua, who graciously donated the land to us. So it, not to us, but to put it is their park, but they did a great job of coordinating with us as well. So I want to make that important. We do have a mindfulness path going in that can offer you signs and stuff like that. That's going in soon as well. So it's really nice. It'll give a chance to walk the path and do some mindfulness things. So for health and wellness.
That's fantastic. And both of you come off as so incredibly humble, but I think it's really, really important to think about the lives that you've changed, not only in our community, but if this becomes the norm across the nation, how many different lives you've impacted through this. I mean, you look at the smile that you see on the faces, and it's just got to feel really incredible. But, if you were to say one thing to families who are looking, who don't have these opportunities yet, but are looking for this type of inclusion, this type of play, what message would you have for those families?
We both can go ahead. No, so first we've had a lot of, Shannon and I just want to say, we've had a lot of humbling stories come in on our social media, things that have brought tears to our eyes and fulfilled everything. The playground is doing what it's supposed to do. Let me just say that. But we've had families, parents, caregivers, grandparents thanking us for helping them be able to connect their children. But the message that I have to the families that want this and want to have this is always dream big and never stop believing that in the possible. I really do. There's a way to do it. You just have to get the how out there.
That's awesome. And what do you think? What have you seen so far? I'm sure there's a lot more to come, but even just looking at your family and MJ, and I saw the smile in the video as he was swinging across, but what has been the single best thing so far that your family has experienced that came out of this project?
It's global. So our family has experienced the generosity of this community, and when I say it's there's people that have came forward that chose to remain anonymous. That I'm all in. Whatever you need, I'm all in. And when we started this project, we were told that it would take us at least 15 years to do. And here we are 3 years after we launched the campaign of fundraising. But for us as a family is we dreamed, we chased that dream, and we saw the dream come to a reality to give people that haven't had the chance in their lives, and some of them are in the latter stages of life, to play. And to play side by side with their peers, to play side by side with people that they have never encountered, because they've never had the opportunity. And for me, that's the most humbling experience that we've had, is to see that interaction of play.
And
It's incredible.
I'd like to add on to that as well. So for us, I had an experience that I just would like to share as well, directly with MJ. And so for me, it's not only, it's all individuals being able to interact with each other. The one piece of equipment called a we-go-round, where the children were just spinning on, and there was in the video, I heard of that. One day I pushed MJ over there, and there was already some kids on there, and I'm like, hey, can you stop so we can get a turn? And this one little girl, she had to be like maybe 2 years old, had the look of fear on her face as I pushed MJ's wheelchair onto the we-go-round, because she'd never seen a piece of equipment. She'd never seen maybe a little boy in a wheelchair or anything. So she was like way overwhelmed with it. So and then there was another little girl. And so this whole dynamic moment where these children were connecting and learning from each other, and it goes both ways, was telling me we're in the right place. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Of course, I started crying, and then other parents let that moment happen. But it was an incredible moment, and they all wound up playing. And that's what the playground is all about.
That's the kind of inspiration we hope will draw across the country for something special like this. Absolutely. Shannon, what's next on Leonard's Express community giving agenda?
Well, coming up, we are entering into October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, another topic that's very, very near and dear to our hearts. So our company is currently owned by Ken, Kevin, and Kyle Johnson. And the fourth K in there is Kim Johnson, who's recently retired, but did beat breast cancer and had the family along with her the entire journey, as she was our chief financial officer at Leonard's Express at the time. So often you will see a breast cancer truck out on the road. We have 4 right now that are logoed up with our pink ribbons. And for every mile driven, we make a donation to the Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester in support of their movement towards finding a cure for breast cancer. So that's going to be our big focus this month. We have lots of partners we work with on the project. And if you follow our Facebook page and our Instagram, you just may see some pink tutus and some pink wigs on our Pink Out Day that we do each year at Leonard's Express. We have a lot of fun with it, raising awareness for breast cancer. So that's next up on the list. But, we want to stay obviously extremely involved in this project. So Nanci and Mike, please keep us up to speed. Let us know what the next steps are. It's something that, I think that whether you are just even going to the playground or being a part of it, whether it's a financial donation or a volunteer to help build the next steps, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to get involved.
Absolutely. I'm so proud to be able to present this and have Mike and Nanci on the show. Shannon as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are grateful for the impact that you're making on the communities where we live, work, and play.
Happy to be a part of it. And I really appreciate being here. I liked it so much.
Team.
Absolutely. And I liked it so much. Ken may getting a run for his money here.
Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Leading the Way at Leonard's. If you have questions or feedback, we'd love to hear from you at leadingtheway@leonardsexpress.com. That's Leading the Way, all one word. And please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Knepper. Until next time, keep on trucking.
We're running 18 wheels down